and was only son of a tremendous old rascal who grew rich as a dust contractor. On his small estate, the growling old vagabond threw up his own mountain range, and its geological formation was rubbish. Coal dust, vegetable dust, bone dust, crockery dust, all manner of dust. Here 4 stuffed buffers cry in chorus, "Pray go on." This exemplary person derived his highest gratification from anathematizing his nearest relations and turning them out of doors. Having begun, as was natural, by rendering these attentions to his wife, he turned next to his daughter, and then to his only son, a boy of 14. The terrified boy gets aboard ship, ultimately turns up on dry land among the Cape wine, small proprietor, farmer, grower, whatever you like to call it. At this juncture, shuffling is heard in the hall, and tapping is heard at the dining-room door. An analytical chemist goes to the door, confers angrily with unseen tapper, and goes out. Mortimer proceeds. So he was discovered only the other day, after having been expatriated about 14 years. A buffer, suddenly astounding the other 3 by asserting individuality, inquires, "How discovered? And why?" "Ah, to be sure, venerable parent dies." Same buffer, emboldened by success, says, "When?" 10 or 12 months ago," says Mortimer. "And his will is found. It is dated very soon after the sun's flight. It leaves the lowest of the range of rubbish mountains, with some sort of a dwelling house at its foot, to an old servant who is sole executor, and all the rest of the property, which is very considerable, to the son, except—" The analytical chemist returns, but Mortimer continues, "except that the son's inheriting is made conditional on his marrying a girl who at the date of the will was a child of 4 or 5 years old. Advertisement and inquiry discovered the son in the man from somewhere, not Jamaica, and at the present moment he is on his way home, no doubt in a state of great astonishment, to succeed to a very large fortune, and to take a wife." Mortimer becomes aware that the analytical chemist is, in a ghostly manner, offering him a folded paper. "What's this?" Analytical chemist bends and whispers. Mortimer stares at him and unfolds the paper. "This arrives in an extraordinarily opportune manner," says Mortimer. "This is the conclusion of the story. Already married, guesses one. Declines to marry, guesses another. Codicil among the dust, guesses another. You are all wrong," says Mortimer. "Man's drowned." As the disappearing skirts of the ladies ascended the veneering staircase, Mortimer turned into a library of brand-new books and requested to see the messenger who had brought the paper. He was a boy of about 15. "Who told you to bring this?" "My father, Jesse Hexam." "Is it he who found the body?" "Yes, sir." "Is it far to your father's?" "A goodish stretch, sir." Eugene said, "I'll go with you if you like." So they all 3 went away together in the vehicle that had brought the boy. The 2 friends, once boys together at a public school, inside, smoking cigars, the messenger on the box beside the driver. "Eugene," said Mortimer as they went along, "I have been upon the honourable roll of solicitors of the High Court of Chancery 5 years, and I have had no scrap of business but this." "And I," said Eugene, "have been called 7 years, and have had no business at all, and never shall have. And if I had, I shouldn't know how to do it." The wheels rolled on, and rolled down by the monument, and by the tower, and by the docks, until they stopped at a dark corner, river-washed and otherwise not washed at all, where the boy alighted and opened the door. They passed at once into a low circular room where a man stood before a red fire, and a girl sat engaged in needlework. 2 or 3 old sculls and oars stood against the wall. "The gentleman, father." The figure at the red fire raised its ruffled head like a bird of prey. "You're Mortimer Lightwood, Esquire, sir?" "That is my name," said Mortimer. "What you found," glancing rather shrinkingly towards a bunk in the corner, "is it here?" "It's close by. I'll do everything regular. I've given notice of the circumstance to the police, and the police have took possession of it and put it into print already. Here's what the print says of it." Taking up a bottle with a lamp in it, He held it near a paper stuck on the wall, with the police heading, "Body Found." The two friends read the handbill, one among many against the wall. "You didn't find all these yourself, did you?" asked Eugene, to which the bird of prey rejoined, "And what might your name be now?" "This is my friend," interposed Mortimer Lightwood, "Mr. Eugene Rayburn." "Answer Mr. Eugene Rayburn simply. Most on 'em. Now, am I to show the way?" As he opened the door, in pursuance of a nod from Lightwood, an extremely pale and disturbed face appeared in the doorway. "A body missing?" asked Gaffer Hexam, stopping short. "Or a body found? Which?" "I'm lost," replied the man. "I'm a stranger. I want to find the place where I can see what is described here. It is possible I may know it." He showed a copy of the newly printed bill that was still wet upon the wall. "Are you seeking a Mr. Harmon?" said Mortimer. "No." "Then I believe I can assure you that you are on a fruitless errand, but come with us." A little winding through some muddy alleys brought them to the bright lamp of a police station, where they found the night inspector, with a pen and ink and ruler, posting up his books in a whitewashed office, as studiously as if he were in a monastery on top of a mountain. He took up his keys, which a deferential satellite produced. "Now, gentlemen." With one of his keys he opened a cool grot at the end of the yard, and they all went in. They quickly came out again, and so back to the whitewashed library, and there through the merits of the case. No clue to how body came into river. Too late to know for certain whether injuries received before or after death. Steward of ship in which gentleman came home passenger had been round to view and could swear to identity. Inquest tomorrow, and no doubt open verdict. "It appears to have knocked your friend completely off his legs," remarked Mr. Inspector. Mr. Lightwood explained that it was no friend of his. Mr. Inspector raised his voice. "Don't you faint, sir? Seems you're not accustomed to this kind of work." The stranger, who was leaning against the chimney-piece, looked round. "No, it's a horrible sight." "Are you expected to identify, I'm told, sir?" "Yes." "Who did you think it might have been?" asked Mr. Inspector. "Give us a description, sir. Perhaps we can help you." No, said the stranger. "It will be quite useless. Good night." "At least," said Mr. Inspector, "you will not object to write down your name and address?" "Not at all." Mr. Inspector dipped a pen in his inkstand and deftly laid it on a piece of paper close beside him. The stranger stepped up to the desk and wrote in a rather tremulous hand, "Mr. Julius Handford, Exchequer Coffee House, Palace Yard, Westminster." It being now past midnight, Gaffer Hexam, the bird of prey, went home to roost. At midday following he reappeared at the local inn, the Six Jolly Fellowship Porters, in the character, not new to him, of a witness before a coroner's jury. Mr. Mortimer Lightwood doubled the part of witness with that of eminent solicitor watching the proceedings on behalf of the representatives of the deceased. Mr. Inspector watched the proceedings too. Mr. Julius Handford, having given his right address, and being reported in solvent circumstances as to his bill, had no summons to appear. The case was made interesting to the public by Mr. Mortimer Lightwood's evidence touching the circumstances under which the deceased, Mr. John Harmon, had returned to England, and by the testimony of Job Potterson, the ship's steward, and one Mr. Jacob Kibble, a fellow passenger, that the deceased, Mr. John Harmon, brought over in a valise a sum in excess of £700, realised by the sale of his little landed property. It was further made interesting by the remarkable experiences of Jessie Hexam in having rescued from the Thames so many dead bodies. Reginald Wilfer is a name with rather a grand sound, suggesting the de Wilfers who came over with the Conqueror. But the Reginald Wilfer family were of such commonplace extraction and pursuits that their forefathers had for generations modestly subsisted on the docks, the excise office, and the custom house. The existing R. Wilfer was a poor clerk. Wilfer's appearance was chubby, smooth, and innocent, the conventional cherub grown up and clothed. His popular name was Rumpty, which in a moment of inspiration had been bestowed upon him by a gentleman of convivial habits, and he was constantly addressed, even in minor notes on business, as Dear Rumpty, in answer to which he sedately signed himself, Yours truly, R. Wilfer. He was a clerk in the drug house of Chicksey, Veneering and Stobbles. Chicksey and Stobbles.